Hello, this is Mr. Zandis. Now, what we're going to learn today is how to use commas and quotation marks in dialogue. And here we're going to learn a few different things. How to properly use commas within a conversation, and how to use the different points such as the period, the question mark, and the exclamation point. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, this is Mr. Zandis, and I'm going to show you how to use commas and quotation marks in dialogue. And as you see, there's a little comma mark right here after the word commas. And then there's quotation marks around quotation marks. And then it's going to be within dialogue. As you see here, there's a short conversation between I, Mr. Zandis, and Mr. Cervantes. Now let's look at the first line here. Mr. Zandis said to Mr. Cervantes, "Hello." Now what does that mean? Well, as you see, there's a name, an action, and another name, meaning this name is saying something to this other name with a comma, hello, surrounded by quotation marks and a period. Now, if we look at this one, we see Mr. Cervantes replied, again, comma, and then quotation marks surrounding hello, Zandis. And then there's a period. Again, this is a name doing something. Now, in this case, since we've already established that there's two people in this short conversation, the reply is towards I, Mr. Zandis. So it really is saying Mr. Cervantes replied to Mr. Zandis, hello, Zandis, surrounding by the quotation marks. Now, when we get to here, Mr. Zandis asked, how are you today? It really is saying Mr. Zandis asked Mr. Cervantes, how are you doing today, with a question mark at the end. And then as you see, there's these quotation marks after the comma. Mr. Zandis asked, how are you doing today? Now here we are seeing an opposite. So instead of quotation marks at the end of the sentence, it's at the beginning. And as you see here, I am feeling well, Cervantes explained. Now, do you see a difference between this Cervantes and this Cervantes? There's no Mr., and here's why. You've already established that there's a Mr. Cervantes, so you don't have to say that again when you are continuing the conversation. So as we see here, I am feeling well, exclamation points surrounded by quotation marks. And then we see Cervantes exclaimed, meaning in this exclamation points, he exclaimed that he's feeling well. And as you see here, that's wonderful, comma, Zandis responded. Now, do you see that there's a comma right here? Well, it's because you are putting this comma right here to continue this sentence. So instead of saying that's wonderful, period, Zandis responded, you are saying that's wonderful, surrounded by the quotation marks, and then continuing on to the sentence, Zandis responded. That's wonderful, Zandis responded. That's wonderful, comma, continuing on the conversation, Zandis responded. And that's how you use commas and quotation marks in dialogue. So we just learned how to use commas and quotation marks in dialogue. Now you might be asking, well, why is this important? Well, have you and another friend talked about something, and then later on you meet different friends and they ask you about you and this other person you talked to? Of course. And when you talk to these other friends of yours, you're gonna have to relay or say the information back. "Oh, how was your day?" he asked. Well, I said, and again with a comma, "Oh, I'm feeling wonderful!" Exclamation points. Well, what else did he say? Well, he said, comma, "Well, what makes you so wonderful?" Question mark. I responded, comma, quotation marks, "Because I woke up happy." And that's why it's important, because you want to relay the information back, even if it's on paper or if you're talking to friends, your parents, or anyone who's asking you about something. As you see, that's why commas and quotation marks are important. All right, this is Mr. Zandis, and I'm out.